Hello guys, so now we are trying to stitch or sew. Now this is the pockets that we are fixing. The first step to do is to sew the pocket area. Now you must have gummed it. The pocket was gummed from that notched position. It was gummed from that angle. Then stitch all through this way. Then the pocketing was also cut. The measurement we used to cut the pocketing is 13 inches by 13. Then place it in this form and notch all through that way. Then fold the lining backwards. Bear in mind that the area of that pocket notch was gummed with your gum stair. Then stitch 1/4 inch from here. Now this stitching, the line, your hands must be straight enough. This to enable you have a neat finishing. Then when you get to that notch zip position, you stop there, cut your threads. Then after which you bring out the lining in this form, and then you cut it out from here. Cut all through that way, cut the threads, after which you stitch it down to the main line in this way. Bear in mind that was the English mouth or the savage edge. If not, you would have weaved it all along or folded. But since it's an English mouth, there's no point to weave. After this now, you bring your pocket facing. Remember when we were grafting, the pocket facing was cut out. So you bring it out in this form and then place it at the other end of the lining. And then start from the down to fold. In most cases, you can use weaving and weave it. Then stitch it all through this way, starting from that particular point. Then stitch all through all along the direction. Then stitch all through, fold it carefully, and sew all through to this very end. So after which, fold the lining backwards. Then start from the down part of the lining. Stitch 1/2 inch from there. Stitch all through this way, making sure that you are cutting it in a way that will give you the actual finishing you are looking for. And we are meant to stop a bit before the pocket edge, then notch that position, and then trim off the excesses just as shown in this way. Cut off your thread. This is what you have. After which you tuck in the lining to come out in this form. Once the lining is properly tucked out, now the next to do is you arrange the edge properly. Arrange the edge here properly. After the edge has been arranged properly, the next you are going to do now is to tuck stitch. Make sure you tuck it out nicely with your scissors. Carefully do that, don't bust the pocket. Then after which you now top stitch from here, top stitch all through this way, top stitch all through this way, top stitch all through this way. Then the pockets is done. The next thing we do now will be to lock the sides and the upper part of the pocket, and then you fix your lining for the main trouser lining. So you have to hold there firmly and arrange the upper area. Make sure that it's giving you exactly of the finishing you want to have. You know, don't have a different look there. So stitch here properly and show, and then cut your threads like I do say. Cut your threads. Then after which you are going to lock the up part, that's the waist area, making sure it is being placed at 2.5. So you measure from there and get the position of 2.5. Once you have gotten it properly, you now lock the pocket area. 2.5 inches is what I'm measuring from the edge of the pocket mouth. Then stitch all through to this very point. So you do this as well in the other pockets. Then I will now come back and show you guys how to do the lining. And trim off the excesses there. Trim off the excesses. Then I will do this on the other one and come back to show you the lining. Then on the lining fixing, then the lining was cut in a bit bigger dimension. It was cut in a bigger dimension. The reason for this is to make sure that I am able to pleat it at the middle. Now the pleating helps to give the trouser room for expansion. If your customer is gone, it's not advisable to make the line to be smaller or exact size. The reason for this is to make sure that when you are sewing, the lining does not compress or contract the trouser width. So it's advisable to make the lining a bit bigger, so to make it to lap or to have more room for relaxation. Then after that, bring it in this form. Keep it all through this way. Stitch all through. This way. Then lock it up that way. So after this, the next stitch you will see will be on the zip fixing. Alright, so now after the lining fixing, so the next to do now is to get your back dart. So the back dart is measured from the straight line, 5.5 inches from the straight line, from the side straight line, 5.5. Then just give a notch at that point, a half-inch notch. Then once you get it, the next to do is to make sure that the trouser panel is being folded equally in that form. Then you will get the point. The folding gives you a straight line, or the notch rather gives you a straight line, and then the width. Then that depth is 3.5, mark in that form. Now the dart leg or width is half an inch, or the size of a machine footer. Then it must not exceed 3.5 deep. Then give it a dart stitch all through that way. So after that, do the same thing on the other panel as well. So now the next thing to do here is to iron the dart. Make sure the dart is properly ironed. Then after which, now gum the back inside for it to have gums there to enable you achieve a perfect Welt pocket. So you iron out the dart line in this form. Make sure it's properly ironed out. Then after that, bring gum stay and gum. So here you bring your paper stay or gum stay, like width of 3 inches or thereabouts, gum in this form. Make sure it's gum at the center of the dart. Make sure that the gum stay, paper gum is being positioned properly. This will help you to achieve a neat Welt pocket slitting or notching, right? So gum all through this way. Bear in mind that this is gum at the wrong side and not at the right side. So you do the gumming on both panels, and then you go ahead and create your Welt pocket. So now after the gumming, the next thing to do now is to mark the Welt pocket position, which is the end of the dart, 3.5. The pocket width is 5 inches, right? Then mark from there. Also mark the end as well. So 5 inches is the standard for all adults, except on some cases where you have extra large person. You can now make it to be 5.5. Then for children, you can make it to be 3 inches, 3.5, depending on the size of the child in question. Then after that, mark it in this form as well. Then once you have marked it in this form, the next to do is to duplicate it on the other pocket as well. Alright, so now the next thing to do here is to place the line underneath. Now the lining will be placed 1 inch below the neck trouser height. Then stitch across in this form. Stitch across in this form. So once you have sewn to this direction, cut your thread. Cut your threads. And make sure the threads are properly cut. Then bring your placket. Remember you have gummed it already. So the gumming is how it should be gummed, right? The placket measurement, the placket cut out with the cutting video. Please, I believe by now most of you must have watched the video on cutting. So don't forget to watch it so you understand how these things were done or were cut. Then start from that same line which you have marked out to be the beginning of your pocket opening and stitch 1/4 inch all through to the end to the pocket opening. Then bring the second pocket and stitch all through to that very point. Stitch all through to that very point this way. So the gap between the two lines must not be more than 1/2 inch. So that is the recommended width for the pocket opening. It must not be more than 1/2 inch. So that's cut off your threads in this form. The threads in this form. And then fold it all through to this point. Notch the middle. Then you notch it getting to the edge where the pocket is being the ending, that beginning of the pocket. Give it a V notch in this form. Give it a V notch in this form. And make sure that it's coming out, is giving you exact of that ending. Please don't exceed that point. Very important. So raise the placket up as shown. Give it a V notch. Look at how I placed my hand. Then gently go to that end. Then the next to do here is to repeat the same process on the other end as well. Fold it this way as shown. Give it a V notch. Give it a V notch to this very point. Make sure it ends exact on that point where the thread, the mark of the chalk ended. Do the same thing on the other side. Give it, fold it this way as well. Give it a V notch in this form. In this form. And then this is how it should be. Then after that, it's now time for you to start folding the pockets. But make sure that you cross check the notches if it ended properly where it should. So the one on top, tuck it in, push it to come down inwards this way. And then the next to do here is to fold the Welt pocket mouth. So you're going to fold it in line with the opening you have created, which is 1/2 inch. Fold in this form. Make sure you gaze it to lap at that point. And once you have done it, tuck it in this way. 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 And then you lap it properly. Make sure it's properly balanced. As you can see, I'm trying to relax it nicely. So the pocket folding should reach at the top edge of the pocket opening. Then from here, bring out the angular notching here. Stitch it, the angular notching to the plackets of the pocket, right? Stitch it very well, like 2 to 3 times. Cut your threads and trim off the excesses. But give 1/2 inch gap at the end there. Then after which, this is how your Welt pocket placket is created. Then arrange the edge, the other end very well. Drag it to come up this way. tuck it, fold it backwards, and this is what you will have. Then make sure that the plackets are placed properly, and you stitch on the angular tongue like effects on the notch. Stitch it there. Then after which, the next thing you're gonna do now, stitch it all across that way. So the next thing you will do now, you also trim it, give it an inch gap as well. Then after which, this is what you achieved. See how relaxed the pocket seems to look. Then here you are going to stitch the tongue underneath. Stitch that pocket tongue underneath. It's very important. It helps to make it relax. So once you stitch it on the down plackets, this is what you have. Cut your threads, cut your threads. And the next to do now, cut off all the threads involved. So the next to do now is to, fold the plackets, top stitch it, fold it half an inch inwards this way. Top stitch all through this way. Then cut your threads, cut out this one. Next thing you will do now is to fold up one as shown. Hold it with the up edge where the first stitching was made. So stitch it from there, and that is all you need to do. Cut your threads, and then bring the down pockets in this way, and make sure you arrange it properly. At this point, the pocketine will be a bit longer than the main trouser. So start from there to lock the up area first. Stitch it close to the point where you made the opening, and then stitch it down. Bear in mind, you won't exceed the pocket position, right? Cut the threads for this one. And it's now time for you to fold the linings downwards. Fold the down one first. So while stitching, getting to the up one, you now fold it again to lap on the one beneath. Then make sure that the beginning is properly handled so it doesn't spill over or have rumples. So hold it firmly this way, and then stitch all across. Stitch all across this way. Stitch all across this way. Tuck it in this way. Tuck it. Stitch all through to this very point. Make sure you control the back pocket lining very well so it doesn't have rumples, right? It's very important that you take charge of whatever you're sewing. So you tuck this one underneath, tuck it in this way, top stitch all through to the end. Once you're done with that, this is what you have. Cut your threads, and then you lock the lining at the waist point, and you are done creating your back welt pocket. So the same process you have underwent in the first one, It's what we also go through in the second one.